Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump.
This is absolutely unbelievable. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this began as 500 people in a ballroom in Phoenix. And the hotel called us up. And they said, please don't do it here. We're going to be swamped. It's going to destroy the building. It's been amazing. And outside, sadly, we have thousands of people that can't get in. So you know real estate. You know real estate. I want to thank everybody. You know, last night, and a lot of you saw it on television, it was actually carried live, we had an amazing event, and a very sad event, and yet very beautiful, because the word is getting out that we have to stop illegal immigration. We have to. We have to. We have a situation that's absolutely out of control. We have incompetent politicians, not only the president. I mean, right here in your own state, you have John McCain. I just hate to see when people don't have common sense, don't have an understanding of what's going on, or perhaps don't want to know. Maybe it's campaign contributions, maybe it's special interests, maybe it's lobbyists. But for some reason, some people don't get it, and I don't think they'll be in office much longer. I really mean that. We are going to make this country so great again. We are going to work. We are going to work so hard. And I will say this. When we had our event last night, I saw hardened veteran reporters who were crying. You had to see this. People that I've known for a long time, that I don't even like. They're not good people. How you doing back there? And one in particular, tears are streaming down his face, and I'm saying, I don't believe what I'm saying. I didn't think he had a tear in him. And some of the people that spoke were absolutely amazing. One, their child was killed by an illegal immigrant, shouldn't have been here. And this really began for me. It's very interesting, because when I started and when I announced, don't forget, everybody said, he's never going to run, right? Then they said very strongly, you know, these are real knowledgeable people, they don't know anything. Then they said he'll never file his FVC paper. Well, I filed that 2 weeks ago. They said, oh, wow. Well, then they said he'll never file his financials because he's not as rich as people think. And they get filed during this week. And by the way, some of the other candidates will not be filing from what I hear, okay? And when they file, the number is actually much higher than anybody ever knew. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm only saying that because that is the kind of thinking our country needs. We need thinking where trade deals with China, with Japan, with India, with everybody. We're getting ripped. We're being taken apart piece by piece, slowly. Slowly. China laughs at us. They laugh at our stupidity. They laugh at our incompetent politicians. They have geniuses negotiating for them. We have people that don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. Mexico, and by the way, officially, and I've only said this about 200 times, but it never gets reported. I love the Mexican people. I love the spirit of the Mexican people. I love them. Many, many people from Mexico, legal. They went in the old-fashioned way. They're legal. Many, many people from Mexico work for me. And over the years, thousands of people, Hispanics, have worked for me. And many, many work for me now. But thousands. They're incredible people. By the way, nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says that. They always cut that out. And I'll go a step further. I respect Mexico greatly as a country. But the problem we have is that their leaders are much smarter, sharper, and more cunning than our leaders, and they're killing us at the border, and they're killing us in trade. They're killing us. And every once in a while, I'll see a rally, and it's put up by the Mexican government, in my opinion. People come in, they're so perfect. They're like central casting. And you know how long the rallies last? Like about 12 minutes. They go home. But when you do, and I've said this often, it's very, very hard for a very successful person, and I've heard it from the time I was a little boy, to run for president or even political office. And I find it, and I have headlines every day. ESPN drops Trump. A friend of mine in Paris called, "Oh, Don, it's too bad about ESPN." You know what they were doing? They rented my golf club for a day. They put up a big deposit. I took their deposit, and then I rented it to somebody else. I made two for the price of one. No, it's true. Then the next day, all over the world, NASCAR drops Trump. No, NASCAR. And then friends of mine call up from Europe. It's headlines, NASCAR. Don, it's too bad about NASCAR. I feel so. You know what that one was? They rented a banquet hall at Trump National Doral in Miami for one evening. I took their deposit. I took their deposit, and you know what? I just rented it for much more money than they were paying. So it's two for the price of one. You know, I may make money running for president. It's very interesting. Then all over the place, I hear Macy's. Now, Macy's hurts because the head of Macy's, I thought, was a great friend of mine, Terry Lundgren. Nice guy. He called me up, and I'm in New Hampshire. and I'm getting ready to go on to make a speech. Sort of interesting. It's like 6:30 in the evening, and I get a call from Terry Lindgren at Macy's. And the speech is packed. Packed. It's a house. It was supposed to be in the house. They didn't have enough room. They had 300-400 people, and they never thought this was going to happen. They thought there were going to be 30, like this. This is a little larger, but the same thing proportionately. So my phone rings, my cell phone, and it's Terry Lindgren at Macy's. And the man on stage is getting ready to introduce me. And he said, and you know, we have Donald Trump, the American dream, and all blah, 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 everything. And my phone rings during the introduction. I'm going to be going up there like in a minute. And he goes, Donald, hi. It's like my best friend. I said, Terry, what's your problem? He said, you're very controversial. Can you believe it? He said, now I'm supposed to be going up, I'm supposed to make a speech. I got all these people. And by the way, cameras, just like you have all these cameras. We're in live television all over the place like we are now. And he said, Donald, I had calls from Hispanic people saying they're going to boycott Macy's. I don't know what to do. I said, Terry, be tough. They'll be gone. One day. One day. Now, this is a man that I played golf with. I'm with him all the time. I mean, really was, you understand. Because I don't forget things. I don't forget. He said to me, please, Donald, can I cut you? It's not a big deal. I'm selling ties. And you know what? Honestly, they were made in China, so I didn't care that much. I was like, so I'm walking up the stairs to make a speech, and I have Lundgren saying, I'd like to cut you because he's going to get some bad publicity, he thinks. And I walk upstairs, and he said, and now the American dream. And I'm still talking to Lundgren, and it's like a minute and a half before I walk on stage. People say, what happened? And I made a good speech. No notes, no nothing. And everybody was happy. And I just got cut from Macy's. And here's the bottom line on Macy's. Thousands and thousands of people are cutting up their Macy's credit card. I love it. Thousands. Then I get a call from NBC. Now, let me tell you about NBC. No, I got to tell you. Hey, look, I love the people at NBC. We had a tremendous success with The Apprentice. And they renewed The Apprentice. See, I give up a lot. You're going to see how much money I made with The Apprentice come Wednesday or Thursday when I do my filing. Seriously, it's very lucrative. You know, it's great when you have a big television show. It's like, you know, you're a movie star, you get a lot of money, right? Not that much, but a lot. But you're going to see very impressive numbers. So NBC calls me, we'd like to see you. Now, they don't care about inclusion. They were talking about inclusion. You know, they write the press release. So I read this. I say, this is incredible. But they call me, and a couple of months ago, the head of NBC comes to see me. And the head of NBC's boss, I don't want to mention names because they're really good people. They're friends of mine, although I probably will never speak to them again either. And you know what the head of NBC's boss, that's Comcast, because they own NBC. So I get a call, the head of reality for NBC, the head president of NBC, and the head of everything, head of Comcast. And they come see me a number of months ago. Please do The Apprentice. Please. They won't deny it. They won't deny it. I said, I can't. I want to make America great again. I've done The Apprentice now for 12 years. And it's a great show. For 12 years, there have been 14 or 15 copies of The Apprentice. Every one have failed. Every single one. I mean, I could give you the names, but I don't want to embarrass people. Give you a couple of names. No, nice people. Mark Cuban did one called The Benefactor. It was a disaster. Richard Branson did one. Great guy, but it didn't work out. Tommy Hilfiger, who I love, tenant in my building. Great guy, didn't work out. Hilton's did one. Martha Stewart did one for us. Did one for Mark Burnett and Donald Trump. Martha Stewart. She just got out of the can. No, it's true. She's hot as a pistol, right? You know, they show her coming out. You know, she's got the whole thing with the whole outfit that she's wearing, the whole thing. I said, what a great idea. So we actually did The Apprentice done by us. It wasn't even a copy. It was called The Apprentice. Within a couple of shows, it was over. It was over. So I must have something, right? I must have. So here's the story. NBC sees this. I mean, they're smart people. So NBC comes to my office, and they want me to do The Apprentice so badly. And what do? I say, I can't. I'm going to run for president. And I can't. And I said, because of equal time. Now, you know what equal time is. Such a stupid law. Think of it. Obama can go on television all day long and be president and run for office. But if I have a television show, what happens is everybody running for office would have to be able to do The Apprentice, equal time. So you'll have a good guy named Rick Santorum. You'll have all these guys. You'll have somebody that used to head up Lehman Brothers, the governor from Ohio. You'll have headed up Lehman Brothers. Oh, Lehman Brothers almost took down the world. He was a managing partner. I think he's a nice man. I don't know him. But I know if you're the managing partner of Lehman Brothers almost, you're not looking too good, you know. But all of these guys, they would have to be given 2 hours on primetime television on Monday or Sunday night. I don't think so. So they came to my office and they said, would like you to do it, so important. And by the way, they renewed The Apprentice. It was really very interesting because a lot of people said, well, how could they? And the upfronts, they announced The Apprentice, which is good because I always want to be loved, you know? Like when I went on dates, if a woman dropped me, which happened often, I would always like to say, or at least in my own mind, that I dropped her. Does that make sense? So what happened makes me feel better. So they renewed The Apprentice, and I said, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to run for president. They didn't believe me. I said, why don't you believe me? Why would you give up a primetime show? Mark Burnett calls, great guy, Survivor, Apprentice, great guy. He really is a wonderful guy and a friend of mine. He calls me, he goes, Donald, they're giving you an extension. Nobody turns down an extension. He said, I've never heard of it before. I said, Mark, I'm going to run for president. Nobody believed me. Then I run, and the guys during my office, they said, run, and then by September, we'll do something. Do you believe it? I said, well, if I don't do well, I would have done that. You know, why not? If I'm not doing well, if it's obvious, there's a problem. We just went to #1 in the polls. So NBC went nuts. They renewed the show, and they don't have their star. And everybody else failed with similar shows. And they're angry at me. So again, don't believe the inclusion. They got Reverend Al Sharpton working for them. Okay? He's actually not a bad guy. He's a con man. You have to understand it. Reverend Al is a con man. You know, tells people I'm going to picket you if you don't give. I mean, this guy is a con man. But I know him for 20 years. He's fine. You got to understand who you're dealing with. They've got Lion Brian Williams. He's okay. They sent me the most beautiful present a couple of months ago. Hundreds of, I shouldn't say the name because I deal with all of them, but in this case, Titleist. They sent me hundreds and hundreds of Titleist golf balls, top of the line. They sent them to me. From your friends, from your friends at NBC. A short time later, they say, he's not inclusive, me. I'm more inclusive than anybody. More inclusive than anybody. I then get a call, Univision. Now, Univision controls, and by the way, believe me, Univision has a certain power. Now, I didn't know much about Univision. I thought they were very wealthy. They're actually not wealthy at all. They're highly over-levered. They've got, like, I think $10 billion in debt. They have to do an IPO. Now, how stupid is this?